Match is a keyword used in Sway for control flow. It is like if, else if, and else. However, it can do more. So let's take a look. Here I have an input called x, and let's say that I want to do some conditional statement based on the value of x. We can use a if-else statement, or we can use the match. For example, let's say match x, curly braces. And then inside here we'll say if x is equal to 0, then let's call this function called do something. Say do something. Else, if x is not equal to 0, then we'll say do something else. Okay, so this is one way of using the match statement. Another way to use the match statement is we can again match the value, and then we can return something based on the value it matched. For example, so say match again, match x, and then let's say if x is equal to 0, then we'll return a string, let's say a, and if x is equal to 1, then we'll return a string b, and likewise, if x is equal to 2, we'll return c, otherwise, we'll return the string d. And then, since here we're returning the string a, b, c, or d, we can assign this to a variable, saying that res is equal to of type string length 1 is equal to, and then since we're assigning it to a variable, we'll put a semicolon after the curly braces. Okay, so this is another way of using the match statement. We use the match to return a value and then assign it to a variable. Another example of a match is using match to match against enums. So for example, first of all, as an input here, I'm passing in an input of option of U64, and then we'll do a match statement on this value y. Say match y. If y is an option of sum, let's say option sum with some kind of value inside, then let's return a value val plus 1. Otherwise, the other option will be option of none. And in this case, let's just return a 0. So like in the example above, we're going to return a value. So let's assign this to a variable. Let's say that g is equal to, and then put a semicolon after curly braces. And lastly, this function returns a U64, so we'll return this value z. Okay, let's try compiling the contract. Inside my terminal, I'll type fork build. On the last match statement, I forgot to add a comma, so I'll go do that right now. So over here, put a comma, and then let's try compiling again. I forgot to put a comma on line 24 as well, so I'll go back, put a comma here. Okay, and then let's try compiling again. And our contract compiled successfully. Now, in what situation should you use the match statement over the if-else statement? Well, the match statement is a good choice when you need to consider all possible values that the variable can take. And this is because if you do not, then your contract will not compile. For example, here we're matching the variable y, and the possible values of y are option sum with value or option none. And let's say that we forgot to put in the last case of option none, then our contract will not compile. To show you this, I'm going to open my terminal and then type fork build. And as you can see, we get an error saying non-exhaustive match expression. The contract did not compile because we omitted the case for option none. However, this is not the case if we were to use if-else statement. So let's take a look. First, I'm going to change this none to 99 for the next example. And let's write a similar code, except that let's say that we forgot the case when option is equal to none. In this case, it should be 99, but we'll just omit it in the if-else code example. So let's say that mute g equals 0. We'll handle the case when option is sum. If that option sum val is equal to y, then we'll say g is equal to val plus 1. Else, we know that the y value is option none, but let's say that we forgot to handle the case of option none. Now, this code will not compile if we forget the case of option none. But how about this code? So what I'm going to do is comment this code out and then try compiling this code. So open my terminal again and then clear the logs and then type fork build. And now notice that our contract compiled. So going back, using the if-else statement, our contract compiled even though we missed the case of option none. However, if we use the match statement and then we forgot the option none case, then our contract would not have compiled. So in summary, use the match statement over the if-else statement when you need to consider the case for all possible values of the variable that you're writing a conditional statement for.